Hi everyone, this is Arnav from the Taz marketing team. If this is your first time watching one of our videos, we help marketers increase their conversion rate 2 to 3x by transforming their traditional landing pages into conversational landing pages. And in this video series, we actually show you guys how we make that transformation happen by recording the whole process. In this particular edition, we are going to be taking a look at Drexel University's online computer science program landing page and convert it into a more engaging conversational experience. I landed on this page through a Google ad. I looked up online computer science program and it was, I think, the second link that popped up and it was an ad. It looks like Drexel paid around 17 bucks for this ad. So if we do give them a landing page that converts at a higher rate, that's going to have a real monetary effect on their marketing campaign. So at first glance, looking at the landing page that they're using, it's not terrible. It's a usable landing page, but it's not great either. It's not particularly engaging. They don't use many visual elements, no images. They just have a little bit of binary in the background and a couple of graphics over here, but it's mostly just text. And we know from user research that prospects don't like reading text. If you phrase your messaging in a way that's very text heavy, prospects are just going to glance over it, they're going to skim over it, and they're not going to get the full picture. And that doesn't make for a well informed prospect who is going to convert. The other issue with this page is one that's common in the lead generation world. They use a form. Forms are unengaging. It causes prospects to drop and it causes them to procrastinate. And if you're running Google ads like Drexel is, that has a real cost for your marketing campaign. It's going to mean that you're paying for clicks that are not converting into actual information requests. And that's an outcome you really want to avoid. So, with that, let's switch over to the TARS Builder and start creating our conversational landing page. The first element we always like to create in our conversational landing pages is called the hook. And it's a three message sequence that a prospect sees as soon as they land on a page. It kind of serves the same purpose as this first fold over here. It has a little bit of branding, it has a heading and a subheading, and it has a CTA. So the first message within this three message sequence is the welcome message. So welcome to Drexel University. I always like to make the name of the university or name of the company bold, and I always like to add an image. And the purpose this welcome message serves is that it provides a little bit of branding to the user. And branding is a way to build legitimacy. If I landed on this page and there was no indication that this was Drexel University, I might think that I'm in the wrong place. I might think that the page looks a little bit too generic and as a result, a little bit suspicious, and that might cause me to drop, which is wasted money for Drexel University. And again, something we want to avoid. So just add a welcome message as the first message in your conversational landing pages. Your conversion rate will thank you in the long run. The second message is the value proposition message, and this serves the same purpose as the heading and the subheading in your traditional landing pages. You want to convey your value proposition. You want to convey what it is about Drexel University's programs that make them awesome in a short tweet length message. So in this case, Drexel has been kind enough to provide me with a template that I can adapt for this message. So I'm going to copy that. Whoa, I think I copied way too much text. Let me just copy this subheading in and edit it a little bit. I don't need the second sentence. I'm going to say our online computer science programs, because I already said Drexel University in the first message, are designed to prepare you. Are designed to is a little redundant over here. This is just basic English. Our online computer science programs prepare you for work on the cutting edge of technology. I'm going to make online computer science programs bold. Now, the purpose this value proposition message serves, and for that matter, this heading and the subheading serve, is it offers continuity from user intent. So I looked up online computer science programs on Google to find this landing page. And this message offers continuity from that. It tells me that I'm in the right place. It tells me that I am looking at the correct search results. It tells me that Drexel University is offering me something that I am looking for. And it adds a little bit about what makes Drexel University, or the way Drexel University approaches this program that I am looking for. And we found that adding this little bit of continuity in a short, concise message in the second message of the hook captures user attention, and it prepares them to click on the CTA when we present it in a little bit. So it's a good move to add just a little snippet about your value proposition in the second message. After that's done, what we can do is we can make the ask message, and the ask message serves the same purpose as the text on your CTA. Essentially, we're telling people how they can continue the interaction, how they can move on to the next stage of the process. So over here, I'm going to keep it simple. I'm going to just say request more information below, and I'm going to provide them a button to respond with. So request more information. I also like to add a down pointing emoji whenever I mention the word below, just to make it as explicit as possible as to how they should continue the interaction. Move the emoji into the right spot. And that is our hook complete. A couple of points about this ask message actually before I continue. Keep it as uncontroversial as possible. What I mean by this is don't ask for personal information right at the start. I could have very easily skipped ahead and started asking for the details that are there in the form. I could have said, what's your name? But that has two disadvantages to it. First of all, asking them to request more information by tapping a button over here is a lot easier to do. So a prospect lands in this page, it says request more information below. All they have to do to continue the conversation is tap a request more information button. That's just a single tap. If I ask them for their name, there will be multiple taps. So in my case, Arnav, Arnav, that's 5 taps and then a send tap. So that's 6 taps. And each tap is an opportunity for the prospect to drop. And you want to minimize that opportunity. So you make it as uncontroversial as possible so it can be responded to with a button. That's a single tap. The second aspect of this, and it's related, is that people aren't willing to share their personal information as soon as they land on a page. And that's part of the reason you don't want to ask for something like their name. And that's part of the reason the taps are opportunities to drop. If a prospect comes here and they tap on the request more information button, they're not really losing anything. If they don't like what they see on in the next couple of messages, they can close out, but they don't really lose anything by tapping the request more information button. And once they've tapped it, they feel more invested in the conversation and they will probably continue with it. With that complete, we can actually move on to the actual lead generation process. And that's pretty simple in this case. We want to convert their form into a conversation. In this case, sorry, I have a little bit of a cough. We want to ask for their name first, just like Drexel has done. In a lot of forms, I noticed that they don't ask for the name first. But in a conversation, you always want to ask for the name first, because when you're having a conversation with an actual human being, they always want to know who they're talking to before they start asking more detailed, more in-depth questions. So first, we're going to acknowledge that we got user input. We're going to say, great, I need a few details before I can send the information packet to you. First, an easy one. What is your full name? This acknowledgement up here is also a key point to note. In a form, you can say first name, have a blank field, last name, have a blank field, and prospects will fill it out. They know that that's what they have to do with the form. But this lack of personality is also a reason why a lot of prospects drop. That's a lot of reason a lot of prospects don't like forms, and it's the reason your conversion rate is so low. In a conversational landing page, you have to go that extra mile. You have to make the experience feel personal. So you have to acknowledge the fact that they tapped this button in the previous messages. You have to acknowledge the fact that they tapped the request more information button in the hook. So that's why I said, great, I need a few details before I can send the information packet to you. So I've acknowledged what they're telling me, and I'm telling them what is to come. I'm going to ask them for a few details, and then I ask them for their name. I'm going to put full name verification on. This just ensures that they're giving me a full name, not just a first name, not just a last name. And we can move on to the next question. In this case, they want email, phone number, pick a program, and pick a term. I'm actually going to flip the order of these fields over here. I was speaking to one of our clients for a case study, and what they found after A/B testing a bunch of flows is that prospects don't like to share their contact info at the beginning of a conversation or even at the beginning of a form. They feel that it's a little too salesy, and they prefer feeling like they're getting some value from the landing page before they actually share something like that. So ask them for program and term first, because that makes them feel like your main concern is them getting the correct program, and then the email and the phone number at the end are just incidental. So I'm going to first ask for the program that they want. So program. I'm going to acknowledge the fact that they just gave me their name. So I'm going to say, nice to meet you. And then pull their name from wherever they gave it. URSP.name. This is just a personal touch that you can't get in a form, saying nice to meet you, whatever their name is, when they give you their name. And this is the reason prospects are more likely to convert into leads when they interact with a conversation as opposed to with a form. So what's the next one? Which program are you interested in? Let's make program bold just to emphasize what we are asking them for. I think they have only a couple of program options, so we can just make it buttons. BS in computing and security technology, MS in computer science. So BS in, what was it? Computing and security technology. Computing and security technology. Next one is a simple one. It's an MS in computer science. Computer science. Oh, accidentally made an error over there. MS in cybersecurity, MS in software engineering. MS in cyber security, MS in software engineering. This one is post-baccalaureate certificate in computer science. Wow, that is a long one. Do they have it? Yeah. Thankfully, I can copy and paste it from here, because that's way too long for me to remember all the spellings for. Where I misspell over here. I'm just going to keep cybersecurity as one word because that's how it usually is. I don't know why Chrome is giving this to me as an error. But we have captured that program. It doesn't really matter that we have branching in this particular gambit, because regardless of which option they select, we're going to send them in the same direction and ask them for the exact same question. This is for a previous bot that I was making. It's a list of countries. So I'm just going to minimize that. I don't know why I opened it up. Let's add the next gambit and ask for the term. Okay, let's see. Summer 2019, fall 2019, and winter 2020. So, and which term do you expect to begin the program? And which term do you expect to begin the program? And we can make it buttons again. What were their options? Summer 2019, fall 2019. Summer 2019. In which term is a little complex. We can just say, when do you expect to begin the program? Fall 2019 and winter 2020. Term. Hit save. Remove branching, because again, we're going to ask them the exact same question next, regardless of what their response is. And now we can close the conversation out and ask for their email. Over here, they ask for their email and their phone number. I like to keep it as just one of those contact information details. I'm going to stick with email over here because they're sending over information, and it's easier to send information over email as opposed to text message or over phone. So I have all the details that I need. Share your email below and I'll send you a full information packet. Make email ID bold, or just email in this case, and we're going to add the emoji again, just to make it as explicit as possible that they have to share the email ID below. Change the delay. You might have noticed that I've been changing the numbers in these green bubbles on the left side. These are message delays. They essentially dictate how long the typing animation is showed before the message to the right is displayed on screen. So it's going to say, I have all the details that I need, show the typing animation for 2 seconds, and then say, share your email below. And it serves two purposes. One is it makes it feel more natural. When you're speaking to an actual human being, they always take a couple of seconds to type out a message. And two, it gives the prospect time to read. So if you start reading this message and then the bot sends you the second message too quickly, that's a little jarring, it's a little annoying, and it doesn't make a good user experience, and a bad user experience causes people to drop. So email, and now we can end the conversation. Keep an eye out for our email. Actually, let's say thanks for your patience. Keep an eye out for our email. We hope to see you in a Drexel online program soon. And end the conversation. The only thing we have left to do, this was actually a pretty easy lead generation process. The only thing that we have left to do is fix the branding on the page. Right now, if I hit deploy and open up the conversational landing page as it is right now, the URL is generic. It says chatbot.hellotars.com, and the design is generic. It looks like a iMessage or a Facebook Messenger chat. It doesn't really match Drexel's branding, and it looks generic, which we don't want because, again, generic pages scream spam, and prospects don't like that, and it causes them to drop. So we're going to fix that. In this case, I like Drexel's colors, the dark blue and the yellow. So I'm going to use this eyedropper tool from the Chrome Web Store to select both of them. I'll use the dark blue for the bot messages. Let's pop over to design. And I will use the yellow for the user messages. Copy that and paste it in. Well, I did not copy that properly. There we go. Hit save. I also like to change the background around the chat area to just a plain white. Or we could also change it to the bot message colors. But that might look a little out of place with the yellow. It might be too much blue and too little yellow. So I'm just going to keep it as a... Whoa, that was a mistake. I'm just going to keep the page background as a solid white color. That just makes the chat area feel like it's an extension of the rest of the page if you're on desktop. So let's hit deploy, go to configure, change this to Drexel. So the URL is in line with the branding. Hit deploy and make the chatbot Drexel online. Deploy, save. And let's look at the outcome of our hard work. This is the final landing page. We can request more information, go through the lead generation flow just to give you guys a sense of what it looks like. Already you can see it feels a lot more personal than a form. A form, they just give you all the fields at once. Over here, it's one at a time. It's a back and forth conversation with an actual entity on the other side. So let's put it to meet you, a personal touch. This is honestly my favorite thing about making a conversational landing page. Personal touches like this is what causes the conversion rate to go up. People really appreciate this. Actually, one of our customers had an interesting take on this. They proposed that it's not particularly rude if you're on a form and you close out of the page, but if you're in a chat, even if it's with a bot and you close out of it, it's kind of rude. So that makes people more apprehensive about doing it, and they actually complete the whole lead generation process. So let's just say I want an MS in computer science. When do I want to begin the term? Fall 2019. I have all the details that I need. Share your email ID below. If I try to give it a junk piece of text, it's going to say, please give a valid email ID. So I'm going to share my work ID. That's the whole lead generation flow complete. We can do a quick side by side to give you guys a sense of how this compares to the original landing page. As you can see, even just an overview, a side by side of these landing pages together shows you the difference between them. The conversational landing page on the right is much cleaner. It has a lot more elements moving on it, and it gives prospects that instant gratification of new message bubbles popping up. It makes the interaction feel more interactive, where the landing page on the left is just a dump of information. You click on a link, Drexel just dumps a bunch of information on your screen, and it's up to you to read it and fill out the form on your own. And in case it hasn't sunk in yet, the transformation from the left to the right, in our experience, causes an increase in conversion rate from 2 to 3x. And usually, in the case of education, with all our education clients, it's been closer to the 3x. So, this really works in a higher education context. That's it for today. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Feel free to copy any of the best practices that I included in here, any of the messaging that I included in here. If you guys want our help in creating a conversational landing page like this, drop a link in the comments or generate a lead. If you're looking at this on our blog, there should be a chatbot in the bottom right corner of our page that you can use to generate a lead, and that will be enough. We'll take it from there. Let's see if it pops up. Yep, there you go. That's the chatbot. Interact with that, generate a lead. We'll handle the rest. That's it.